some of the internal strength. We hope that we will achieve both things. In any case, it is clear that our geographical limits have changed, that we have new neighbors, and probably we'll have even new neighbors in the future. Who knows? Perhaps one day Pakistan. I don't think we are going to go that far.
Why not?
But for the time being, only the question is, where are the limits of Europe? In the philosophy of the European Union has always been that any European country has, in principle, the right to become a member. Of course, it has to accomplish certain criteria that we have decided among ourselves that is basic to be a member. But any European country, that complies with those criteria has the right to become a member. Where are the boundaries of Europe? That's a question that has to be asked, in fact. On the other hand, I think that there has been, I would have put your historical summary was very good, extremely good. I would have put it a little bit more rosy, in the sense that I think that Germany had always more to gain than simply, they were obviously paying, particularly in what the budget is concerned. But Germany was also the best situated, the best place to take profit of the common market first and the single market afterwards. So Germany was getting in the market what they were somehow paying in the budget. So the balance at the end between those that gain and those that pay was perhaps more even than it might look at first sight. In any case, where are we going? We are at a crossroad. We worked on a constitution, there was a convention, and then a conference of member states that drew up a constitutional treaty establishing some new elements for the European Union. This constitution was put to referendum in 2 countries, among others, in France and Netherlands, and people voted no. So we are now at a historical moment in which we have to redefine somehow how we do go ahead. I think it has to be clear that no at the referendum does not in any way mean no to the European Union. That's not the sense of the refusal. The sense of the refusal is no to this constitution at this moment. In fact, many that voted no because they thought that it was short of what their expectations were. The question is, are we going to a federation? Are we going to a confederation? Are we going to something else? This is difficult to answer. Probably we are going out to something else. We are building a new creature, a new animal, and it's difficult to define that animal. Not all the members within the EU want to go to the same point. Some want to go further than others. That's why there are some options. For instance, you can be or not be part of the euro, of the monetary union, or you can be part or not of the Schengen Agreement, which is the one that sets the external borders of the European Union. So there is an inbuilt flexibility, and that flexibility will have to continue to exist. Of course, there are minimums that you have to agree, otherwise we could not live together. But how we are going to build the future, that's still difficult. I think if we look to the very long term, I have no doubt that the EU will be deeper, more tied together in 10, 15 years' time. On the contrary, it would be for me more difficult to say how it will look in 3 or 4 years' time, because we are now in a reflection period, and we have to see what comes out of that reflection period.
Yes, but you're not going to get away so easily. First of all, you talk about a European Union, but you cannot convince your own people about the Eurozone. Why can't you convince your members that the euro is a good currency? 1. And number 2, you have a problem with Britain. Britain believes that the English Channel is wider than the Atlantic Ocean. How do you convince Britain that its geography is so bad that the Atlantic is not narrower than the English Channel? Is it a European country or is it an ally of the United States?
Let me take your last affirmation. I think we are all are allies of the United States. The EU is closely related in all respects to the United States. Simply the volume of exchanges, trade, investment between the EU and the US is of such a magnitude that really we are in many respects a very integrated reality. Our economies are inextricably related. So the UK perhaps is more than others, but that does not change the fact that we all feel very close to the United States. Of course, the UK has chosen, for instance, not to join the euro, at least for the time being. It's not surprising considering that London is one of the most important financial centers in the world, and that the UK has its own dimension in that respect. Nevertheless, I would not say that the euro is a currency which is not adhered by the citizens of the countries that have joined the euro, 12 countries as of now. I think that there has been criticism. There has been criticism because, of course, you do not change every day from one currency to another. You do not abandon one day the franc or the Dutch mark and join a completely new currency, which is the euro. And obviously prices went up more than normal in that process. So there are a number of reasons why people had mixed feelings at the very beginning. But I would say that at the end of the day, everybody is quite happy that when you take the plane in Rome and on board and disembark in Paris, you have the same money in your pocket and you use the same money. That has also helped enormously the European economy and the European process of integration and make a reality of the single market. So I think that's clearly a reality, and I, looking at the future, think that more member states will rally the euro than the contrary. It's true that when the constitution failed to pass the referenda in France and the Netherlands, there was some gossip about countries wanting to leave the euro. Nothing of that was real. Nothing of that was more than pure gossip. And what is the reality is that many of the new member states want to join as soon as possible the euro.
One more question before we start the questions from the universities. I have some problems with your concept of geography also, because Cyprus, which is in the south of Turkey, net south, is a member. But about Turkey, you have doubts. Now, how do you say how far? Well, you're leaving out a middle country, but going to a southern country. It seems to me that there is some degree of religious racism involved there. Is that right or is that not right? Question one. Question two, if you can go up to Cyprus, why can't you go up to Israel? What is the European view about Israeli membership? I mean, I don't know what is your definition of Europe. In a globalized world, what does Europe mean? And so please define Europe a bit more in a globalizing sense and answer Turkey, Israel, Cyprus.
Yes, well, as I said, this is not easy to answer. It's not easy because there are things that are not, and I don't think that we need to define them too much too early. I don't think we should struggle too much to set principles that then become difficult and inflexible criteria to cope with the future. Certainly, Turkey is right now a candidate country. It has just started the negotiations for integration, the 3rd of October, so a few days ago. That's the reality. What the end of these negotiations will be, we don't know. And in fact, you never know when you start negotiations. But the aim of the negotiations is to have Turkey one day member of the European Union. So there is no boundary. And clearly the EU is not a a specific religion club is not Christian.